Welcome along then. It is round 13 of this Williams series, our first season in F1 Manager 23, and we're taking Williams to hopefully the top in future years. We are currently 6th in the championship standings, with Haas approaching after last week's 2 points. We've got Alpine ahead of us, and there's a great battle in P1. Red Bull 405 with Ferrari in 403. So that looks like it's going to be an absolute blast to the wire. So, how have we got on with our build recently? Well, we've got stuff developing. We've got research well underway for next year, with a few parts just being readied in case of any accidents. Now, we have obviously scored decent points. We have put on hold progression for the season, but maybe we will start to improve again just slightly after potentially some of this research is done. But not long to go. It is 16 days, 15 days, and then we will have a look at that. But first of all, we're going to go racing in Belgium for qualifying. This could be a very interesting one. We used to have a strong power circuit. Not that much strong at the moment. We've kind of benefited other areas. So we've got to see. So let's join us for this qualifying. We've got a sprint race as well, which is going to be interesting. Double delight for you at home. And we're going to see how we get on in Q1. So here we are in qualifying. It is low rubber at the moment. So we are going to just fast forward this. Get them starting to build up. I like to get that rubber and grip boosted up, and then we can start to look and set the car. So we'll fast forward this bit, let them get their times on the board, and hopefully we've got a good chance of setting the grid for Sunday as well after we've put some laps in. So let's go, I think now, with Mr. Albon. And there he goes. Porsche is going as well. You can see Albon, we've got Russell ahead, and we are just going to fast forward this for the first time. I've just don't want to absolutely bore you with what's going on, because obviously there's a lot of qualifying to do, especially if you get through. So we're going to come through, and it's a 30.5 and a 30.5 for both cars in the first sector. And we're coming through the second sector now, and it's going to be a 42.6 for Alex Albon. Porsche has got a car in front of him. That's not going to help. And you can see 42.8. He's dropped 2 tenths as Albon comes into the final corner, across the line. Where's he going to go for now? It's P10. Porsche, with that traffic ahead of him, how is he going to do? He comes round. He's really getting blocked off, I feel, at the moment. And at present, he goes P12. It is 2 tenths of Albon. So we're back out there for our lap, our final run of Q1. We've got both cars running together, and we're now going to start over the line. So Albon and Porsche, 13th and 14th at the moment. We expect some improvement maybe from the cars below, but we're going to see what we can do. We leave it in 2 times speed so we can get through Q1, hopefully without much pain. Can we get a decent first sector? Yellow for Albon, but it is green, 30.5, and it's only a 30.6 for Albon, so that's not necessarily out of the case at the moment. It's going to be through this sector 2. We could just deal with, I mean, that's a big gap to the Hasses. That's very interesting. 4 tenths of a second. Through sector 2 we go with Albon. He's not improved again, 42.7. It's a 42.1 for Mr. Porsche. And I tell you what, we're going to be in trouble with Albon, I think, here. Albon round the final corner. Yellow flags are out. We've had a crash. That's interesting. That could change everything. But Porsche moves up to P10. Great time. He's definitely going to be through. And we try and then have a look at the lap times if our engineer will shut up. And come on, flying lap complete. We know it is complete. Let us see. And there is improvement from Norris. And I think we're going to survive. Oh, we just survived in P15. We are through in Q1 at Spa. Theo, look at these grid penalties as well, folks. Sainz, Hamilton, Perez, Verstappen, Bottas, all with a grid penalty. Let's get in to Q2. So here we go then. Let's take a look. We are on used tyres for the cars, and we start our flying lap in Q2. Porsche with a dominant P10 compared to Albon, who struggled. And we're going to leave these on 2 times as always. We're going to try and cut these videos down for you. I know, that's great by me. But let's see what Mr. Albon can do. It's a 30.6 and it's a 30.6. They are pretty much absolutely smack bang on their first Sector 1 time. How about though through Sector 2, which I'll come up to shortly. I'll tell you what, I hear some tyres squeaking around there. That gives me a bit of nerves. What can Albon do through this middle sector? It is a 42.4, 42.6. So 2 tenths lost by Porsche. Bit of traffic ahead. That McLaren gets out of the way. And as we approach the final corner with the Red Bull ahead of us, what sort of time are we going to put in? On used tyres, remember. Alex Albon crossing the line now. And he'll do a 142.9. And Mr. Porsche, wow, a 44.9. 2 seconds off. Porsche struggling. So this is crucial then in Q2. Alex Albon is about to start his lap with Porsche just behind him coming round the final corner. We are on fresh boots, the fresh rubber. Let's see what we can do. And I tell you what, we're in trouble, folks. We need a good 6 tenths or so to find. It's going to be very tough, I think, from here. But let's take a look at the first sector by Albon. It's green. It's a 30.5. He's a tenth up. Well, he's a tenth ahead of Porsche. So not a brilliant sector time by Theo. That is annoying because he set a lightning time. Look at his 4 seconds off the pace. That's terrible. But I don't think it's going to look good for a Q3 appearance. We've managed to get 1 car in quite a few times. And through sector 2, it's a 42.1. Porsche does a 40. Porsche is so off the pace. It is ridiculous. Albon then, setting the times better than Porsche. He comes round the final corner, across the line, and he's up to P8 at the minute. What a lap by Albon. Where has that come from? Porsche, I mean, he's had a shocker. 2.9. How are you still 2 seconds a lap slower than Albon? That is ridiculous. And I tell you what, we're going to make a Q3 appearance with Mr. Albon. Porsche is not great. P15 knockout. Wow. But Mr. Alex Albon is through. We're going to stick on some used tyres as well. And we'll be back for our second run in Q3. Where can we get to? Okay then, 1 lap done. And we are now into P9, used tyres. We're now on to the new stuff. The boots have been nicely warmed up by Albon. I mean, it's going to be really tough to get past Russell, who is ahead of us by 3 tenths, but we're going to try. And Alex Albon through this first sector on new set of tyres. I don't know how you can't improve. We've got high rubber and you do not improve. It's a 30.5 in Q3. This is where it matters. And it's not mattering great at the moment. What's he going to do through the second sector? Is he going to improve on his time? He comes through and it is a 42.2. He has improved, but I don't think it's going to be a lot compared to George Russell ahead of us. Magnussen we want to hold up. Checkered flag is out and Magnussen is not improving. So we come down to the final corners. Alex Albon. Can he light up the times? What does he do? It is P9. And look at that. Magnussen is improving as well. There is a chance that Magnussen could pip us here. He comes round the final corner. Is Magnussen going to get ahead of us? No, he doesn't. He is in to P10. We are going to take P9 for the sprint. But I tell you what, there's some penalties out there as well. Could we be on for a great start? Sainz, Perez, Verstappen. We could start P5 in this race. This sprint race, as we get through, and we will just simulate the practice session. We're okay with that. We don't need any more practice. I mean, maybe Theo does. But that's debatable. looking good on the setup. Managed to tweak that a little bit nicely earlier on. But where do we start? Because this is going to be interesting. And I tell you what, for the sprint, it is 9th, it is 15th. So maybe that grid penalty doesn't come in until the main race. Sprint though, soft tyres all the way by the look of it. There's no point doing anything other than that. There's only 15 laps. It's a relatively short sprint, but a long track. So actually, it's not that short, is it? In the end, we're going to put everyone on high. And let's see what we can do. Can we bring home? Remember, we need to get 8th if we want to get a point, potentially. And we need to get through the first corner. Fingers crossed. At Spa. Here we go. Lights out. Away we go. I mean, that tyres don't look great, do they? But, well, I'm pretty sure we're okay. Albon has dropped, though, because the Haas has gone up the inside of Magnussen. That is not... We didn't want that. And now, we've got it all to do. Obviously, Magnussen having the inside line into turn 1. We go through Eau Rouge. And we safely navigate so far. There's an Alpine ahead, and Magnussen and Ocon are going at it. And that Magnussen has found pace early on in the Haas. Let's just ride on board. As you can see, we are behind the Alpine, and the Alpine does keep ahead of Magnussen. We are pushing, and here's a move. Lovely. We're going to squeeze past into P9. It's a great move by Mr. Albon. Back into P9. He gets his position, and we'll just ride on board early on. Is there going to be anything else in the making? It is very closely packed on lap 1. We're just 4 tenths separating out. We're going to keep pushing for now because we've got tyres on our side. And into the last few corners we go. And that's looking pretty tidy. DRS enabled on lap 2 in the sprint. And we are right behind Mr. Ocon as we go towards Eau Rouge. And Ocon has drifted away a little bit from Hamilton. So can we close up the gap on lap 2 in the sprint? At the moment, the answer is no. We're going to cut down on fuel now. We're going to leave the tyres pushing because they're not overheating and we're good for tyres. And remember, everyone pushes on these early laps. 3 tenths, 2 tenths is the gap, but Ocon's still within a second of Lewis Hamilton on lap 2. Porsche is right behind the Haas, trying to make him make a mistake. He's being a pain in the Haas at the moment. Let's stay on board with Porsche for lap 2. And remember, we want to set the race up nicely for tomorrow. But still, can't get through. We've broke the toe of Magnussen. That is perfect. And also, Ocon has broken away from that Hamilton second as well. So we are going to get a bit of DRS down the straight. We're going to close that gap up ever so slightly. Still 5 tenths as we cut down on the tyres and the ERS system. Porsche is still 2 tenths look behind. It's not really changing. Difficult track to overtake here at Spa. But we do want to try and move ahead if we can. And at the moment, that is not happening too much. We've actually lost time now that we've started to drift. And it is out to 1.8 seconds. Ocon suddenly put the pace on massively here. And we have dropped big time. We are slightly overheating, but it's not that bad. Let's move it back to standard for now. And let's see how, if we can just hold on against the Haas. And there's a crash. There is a crash in the sprint. Who is involved? Let's find out. It is Pierre Gasly. And there's the Williams of Porsche in the background. Into this corner. Oh, it's a big crash. Both cars flying off, dancing in the dirt. And the Haas and the Alpine move backwards. Porsche moves up to P13. So a nice little bonus for him here on lap 5. And it's Albon who has got a Haas behind him as well. We've dropped so much pace to Ocon though. But well, let's think long term. So we are getting hunted at the moment on lap 10. And I don't think there's anything we can do. This Aston Martin of Alonso out of position has absolutely flew past the Haas of Magnussen. Are we going to defend into the top of the straight? No, we're not. We are down to P10, but the Williams with its lower speed through the corners coming back. And can Mr. Albon sneak back ahead? No, he cannot. We are down to P10, but that is not a position that we expected to keep for so long, because obviously Alonso in that very fast Aston Martin. And how about this for a timely reminder? Because here comes Alex Albon back ahead of the Aston Martin. Hopefully we get to see a replay of that. It hasn't come up yet. But what a move. And Porsche making a move round past the McLaren. We have deployed. And we have done that to perfection. 2 laps. It's not showing us any replays, which is a shame, because they were some great moves. And we are up to P9 and P12 again. And Porsche's had a real solid race here. At lap number, what are we on, 12, 13? 3 laps to go though. Let's ride on board then. Last lap. And I tell you what, it's not looking too shabby. We are obviously P9. We've got grid penalties, I think, coming for the race for a lot of our big team rivals. This could be pretty good. We've got that gap down to 2.3 seconds. I don't think we're going to close that any further. It is going down, but we've managed to keep Alonso at bay. Porsche these are in a race of their own, as you can see at the moment. Absolutely nothing there. And it's going to be, looks like a P9 finish, just outside of the points. Alpine getting another point, but most importantly, the Haas drivers don't get anything. As we come across the last sector, we're all good on fuel. Porsche in P12. Let's just conserve him, bring him level. Don't need to, but we will. Carlos Sainz taking victory here in Belgium, which is probably a surprise for a lot of people out there. And as we come through, there you go. It is P9 for Alex Albon, 2.5 seconds. He keeps Alonso at bay, with Porsche coming home in P12. That is not a bad race, that. P9 and P12 in the sprint. And we will, of course. Absolutely. Boy, is he not happy? He's got P9. Mr. Albon, what are you not on about? We got 4 cars ahead with penalties. Bottas as well. Does that move us up? It should move us up as we enter the main event. Partly cloudy. Strategy. I hate doing strategies. Soft and mediums. I think it's got to be running soft and mediums. You could potentially then run medium and softs, I imagine. Let's just bring that in a little bit and update strategy. For Porsche, we are going to go... I mean, he's got a way different strategy. Let's edit that out. And I think it's going to be all about the one stop here. Let's move the mediums. They can go so long, look. And soft. I mean, got to be medium and soft for Porsche. I think we run that, personally. That is estimated race time, a 1 hour 17. Obviously, you're not going to be here for an hour and 17. Hour and 17 for Mr. Albon as well. He's obviously just running it the other way around. And we start. Look at that. P5 for Albon. I mean, he's going to be a rabbit in the headlights as they all come back at us. That is for sure. That is going to be chaos. But what a start incoming. P5 on the grid. Wow. Here we go. Come on, Mr. Albon. Come on. Do not crash in the first corner, because that would be chaos and I would not be happy. We're going to go on board. It's scary to do so. We've got a Aston Martin of Stroll. Where's Alonso? And I think we're safe. We are safe. Alex Albon has managed the first corner. Porsche has got 2 Red Bulls ahead of him. I bet he didn't think he'd have this waking up for the Spa GP. So, we are off and running. Porsche on the mediums in P11. Albon P5. Obviously, a lot of teams taking penalties. We could have took one of ourselves because we're running out of parts, but we had a great chance on a track which is notoriously a bit difficult to... Wow, I thought we lost it. We didn't, we survived. Alonso is bang there behind us though, 0.2 of a second. Porsche, nice little gap, but he's got Hamilton. Everyone is just so out of place on this grid. We've got Ocon in P3. That is how crazy this race is at present. We are losing time. It's Alonso who's bang behind us. God, my God. It gives me heartache watching some of this. We've managed to pull a little bit of a gap here. DRS won't be available till next lap. So we do want to try and just keep in the zone. You can see tyres are pretty fragile on the softs. So we are going to have to cut down at some point. We've got Alonso and Sainz both following. We are still 5 tenths. I want to keep it just until DRS, just so we get that pull. Porsche is 7 tenths behind the Red Bull, and they're kicking off because they're stuck behind Kevin. Kevin! As they say. But, oh my God, Alonso must be frustrated. The Spanish should be lobbing. Oh, you know what? We're like a bull. He's got like a rag. He's coming at us hard. Can we survive? Mr. Albon. Oh my God, it's so close into that corner. But we close up nicely. Stroll has lost DRS. That is massive for us. Maybe the Aston Martin's not helping each other. We're overheating. We're coming through Eau Rouge. Can we get the job on the Aston Martin? We move to the right hand side. We're closing, we're closing, we're closing. We're not. Oh, we've hit him. No! No!
So we're heading now into turn 5.
Alex Albon. You are in the greatest position of your life. What have you done? I mean, we're only down to P6. Oh, he's got damage. You idiot. Oh, you mop it. It's only minor. I might leave him out. Oh my God, Albon. You muppet. We were absolutely fine. And we've gone and blown it. We have only moved down 1 position, but we've got front wing damage as well. Oh, Mr. Albon. Are we really slow here? Stroll got a penalty for it. I think we're really slow. I think we're struggling. I'm going to keep an eye on the time, because if they come back at us fast, we're going to have to be getting in the pits. I fear for Mr. Albon here, because if he really starts struggling, we are just going to have to pit, and we're going to have to pay the price. It is so frustrating that he made that. I mean, Stroll got the penalty, but obviously on picture it wasn't great, was it? Now, we expect to lose positions to Sainz, Alonso, Perez, Verstappen, but we didn't want to do it that way. And I think we're struggling. I think we are struggling with this wing, but I want to get through to the pit stops. It is. I mean, these Red Bulls are going to kill us on the straight. We are behind the Haas. That is not good. And look at the Red Bull. Perez, this could be a Red Bull domination about to come in here. Rear wings are open, but these Red Bulls are flying. And are we going to keep ahead? Red Bull dives on the brakes. It's deja vu for Albon. It's see you later to Mr. Perez. And that's going to be followed by Verstappen, probably Hamilton as well. We were in such a good place. Yellow flag is out as well. Do not even say that's to us. It's not. Don't know who that was for. It was Hulkenberg down in P17 running wide. This is going to be a matter of time, because we've already dropped a second. He's almost pushing us along, and I feel like I need to hold out until the pit window, but I don't know if we're just struggling too much. These are dominant cars though, but the fact that Magnussen has dropped us by 2.5 seconds tells you a lot. So I think we're definitely struggling. Porsche is coming. Don't fight, teammate. We've got to let him pass. I just want to hold on to the pit. I can't pit now. They're going to swap these two around. And there they go. So frustrating. We were looking so good in P5. We were going to get some huge points. And we've blown it. But Porsche goes on. We're going to hold Albon and try and get him through to at least his pit stop. He's going to keep falling, but maybe we can come back later in the race, because at the minute Oh, it's not good.
Here's the
And
penalty.
our hopes
Right,
did
so this is
rely
the fourth
on
corner.
Albon.
How
That
can
soon
they stop this?
changed. But Theo Pourchaire is now coming into it. I think he's felt a bit sorry, and it's
What's
Fruit
the sighting
Rouge,
distance now?
the
Number
rookie,
11.
making a brilliant move down the straight. And Theo is now ahead of Pierre Gasly and up to P11.
Box this lap.
So then it is pit time for Mr. Albon, and he's going to absolutely love me because it's time for him to actually get off that front wing. We have recommended to change it, and that's what we'll be doing, but we're only in P15 at the moment. It's not been a great race. We were P5. That there, we were on for massive points. I mean, luckily, Hassan 9th. That's not good. But they've got Ocon right behind, so maybe the Alpine will help us out. Looking at the tyres, mediums, Magnussen's on the soft, so Magnussen's going to have to come in earlier. That is not the end of the world, and Albon is coming round in a world of his own. He might as well be on 28%. We'll deploy that back to neutral, and we're just going to use the rest of the tyres as we do come in at the end of this lap. Pourchaire running a very nice race, it must be said. He's got 52%. Ocon's already pitted. He was obviously like 5th, 6th, so he's probably going to be able to go to the end. Pourchaire is planning to be very quick at the end onto the soft, so we are just looking after him at the moment. And fingers crossed he'll come back at the field later on. But Alex Albon is about to finally get off this front wing, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be very happy with that as we fast forward through. And what a disaster. It's just been simply a disaster from the field. Stroll got the penalty, which shows, I mean, it didn't look like it was necessarily Stroll's fault, but it turned out to be Stroll's fault, so we're not going to argue the stewards with that one. As we are in, nose cone gets on its way, you'll be happy. That's another wing to add to the budget. I mean, come on, boys, 11.7, it's not the best. Pit stop issue, no, yeah, you know. And we're back out. So Alex Albon back out on the medium tyres. We're going to leave it on balance. He's got a lot to do from there, as you can see. We're going to bring the tyres up to temperature, and we're going to focus then up with Pourchaire, who is currently P12. And yeah, he's pretty much on his own at the moment. So there's been quite a lot of movement. A lot of people pitting. And as you can see, I mean, Magnussen, that's going to help us a little bit. We've got Hamilton right behind us, who's come out on some fresh mediums recently. Pourchaire's down in the 40s with Gasly. And Hulkenberg's obviously behind us as well. Stroll's there having took a 5-second penalty. And we are lapping slower, but we're going to be coming back onto the softs later in this race, and that's going to be a big pace advantage. You can see Hamilton's stuck right up our backside here. Pourchaire was saving the fuel as well for when he's on the softs because he's going to be very quick. And around us, he's literally mediums. We're one of the few cars. And here comes Hamilton. Is it game over from P9? I mean, we don't want to fight, if I'm honest. Let's try and rarely defend. Because there's no point us holding up. We're in a race of our own here. I feel like Hamilton is just going to blast past us whenever he wants to. And we're actually looking really good. Tyres extending out a little bit. And we're still ahead somehow of Lewis Hamilton, who wishes probably is in the Ferrari at the moment. Not that time yet. And through Eau Rouge he goes, and he finally does get us then at the top of the straight. But Pourchaire's trying to battle back. We had him on do not defend massively. And now we are back down to P10. But we're going to come on the soft tyres. This is not over. Not over. Points could still maybe be on the cards. So it's full deploy. It is pit lap for Mr. Pourchaire. We're going to get some nice boots of some soft tyres on. And we're just going to bring him in. Because this is important. You need a good stop from Pourchaire, and he's coming in now. We've pushed him, and look at this, we're going to drop back to P15, but we're going to be one of the few cars on the soft tyres, so we might have a bit of an advantage here. We've got a tyre pit crew. We've got Albon in P17. Let's start to push him a little bit. And here he is then. We are in. Deploy that, baby. Good. It's not a good stop, but for a tired team, we'll take it. There's no traffic as well, so he's going to be running in clean air, and he's going to come out in P13, Mr. Porsche. That's okay. Albon is chasing Bottas, so it's damage limitation for Albon at the moment. Seeing if he can just get past. Let's top up down the straight. And we are going to try now and close this gap a little bit. A little bit of fuel left as well. Albon is right at the back. And here we go. Overtake failed. Shut up, Albon, and get on with it. Can we get past into P15? We're side by side. And we're through. We are up to P15. Very good move from Mr. Albon. We managed to watch that nicely on board as well. And now we set about sights. 8.3 seconds is the gap to Norris. And they are on some slightly more used mediums than we're on. So it's all about now, can we close the gap? Soft tyres versus mediums, and that gap, look, 7.7. We have absolutely bit into that hard, and this is going to be looking pretty good, I think. But I mean, yeah, it's only 10 seconds. We're going to just cut to aggressive now. Cut it back. Can we get... And there's a yellow flag. Yellow flag. What is that for? Pray for a safety car. It is in sector 3. Oh, it's a lock-up. It's Lando Norris. That brings the gap down. Oh, man, I thought we had a safety car or something then. That would have been ideal. Not to be. We need some luck here, because otherwise we are not going to make it in to the points. And we were closing on Norris. We got it down to 5/10, and then we go and spoil it by locking up. I'm not even going to put myself through it and watching that again, because it is just pathetic. And look at that for a drop off on the tyres. That is not very nice at all. We're probably going to have to go light here. Why do we always wreck it to ourselves? Because we were so good with Albon, and then we're just down the field. It is turned into a shocker. Haas are getting a point at the moment as well. It is not going to be a good race. So we're on the last lap. The final lap, Carlos Sainz. We have still got another lap to do. You can see Porsche is struggling now with his tyres. It has not been a great race at all. We sat P5. It is my biggest frustration, because having been P5, that is massive points, and we are going to sadly drop out. And you just wish you took a penalty and took some new parts at that point. But it wasn't to be. We've had to cool the tyres because obviously Porsche had that lock up around lap 36. And we're now going to have to just... And luckily we've got a bit of a gap where we can just preserve now. Sainz wins. Tell you what, double I think. You think he took the sprint race as well. We've got a 3.3 gap. Magnussen is going to get a point on us for Haas. That's annoying. Alpine pretty strong in the second half of this season. So as long as we keep P13, P15, we'll take it. But it's a long way from the points that I thought we were going to grab, which is the frustrating part. But to still come home P13 and P15 is not the worst case in the world, considering we've had lockups, we've had front wing damages. I mean, Lance Stroll finished 15 seconds ahead, and he also took a 5-second penalty. So yeah, maybe not doing itself justice, but never mind. Albon and Porsche are finished in Spa. Thankfully, Albon ruining Stroll ruining our race. We do 10 positions down for Albon. Bit of a rookie mistake from Porsche as well in there. So annoying. Constructors, look at that. Alpine taking 14. Albon, Haas getting 1. They are closing. Remember, we've only got to come like 8th, so we're not actually that bad here. But I feel like if we can get some of this research done, we can get some parts towards the end of the season built. Gonna need to build a new front wing though after that one. Let me get a helipad refurbished, you know. So mid-season board review. This is where we sit and we see how we're doing. So we are on target for our season objective, which was position 8th, and we are currently 6th, being closed down by Haas in 7th, and score 50 points in... Oh, get your language out. Score points in 50% of the season's races. Current progress 6 out of 12, and we've still got 3 seasons remaining, in theory, to do that. Board confidence is high. An extra 1,500 cash. Show me the money. Oh yeah. So we've got a lot of research completing in the next week, and obviously we haven't got a race coming up until around 14, and it is Zandvoort. Look at that battle at the top, Ferrari and Red Bull, which is absolutely brilliant to see, and down obviously Haas now fighting the Williams hard, but we will see how it goes. Join us back for round 14 as we head to Zandvoort.